Hello, welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host Chris, as usual. This is going to be the first episode in a series I'm calling Geek Lunch Meat Light Bites. These are going to be short little videos where I just take something from my collection that I've acquired over the years and just have a little delve in, take a look at it, and just go into a little bit of the history of the item and sort of why it's in my collection. So I thought I'd kick off the series with this little fella here, Marshal Law from UNBOX Industries. This ties back to how I seriously started collecting comics in the first place. Back in 1991, I was just leaving school, having turned 16, and this comic appeared in the newsagents in the UK, Toxic. It was a comic, I suppose, designed to sort of fill the gap, get some of the 2000 AD readers, a slightly older sort of teenage audience, full of violence and gross out stuff and things like that appealed to teenagers. It certainly appealed to me, and the main thing that appealed to me was it was Marshal Law that they run on the cover. Now, Marshal Law was a character created by the comic legends Pat Mills and Kevin O'Neill. Obviously, I wasn't really aware of this at the time. I wasn't aware that there had sort of been some comics already out in the States under the Epic imprint. I think he's under Marvel. So this is my first introduction to the character. He is a superhero hunter, effectively. He is a super soldier that was created as part of a program. There's a sort of satire on the Vietnam War and all the problems it caused. And they sort of create these super soldiers that can't feel any pain, and they drop them into into sort of Vietnam type situation. When they return, the veterans are treated like some of the veterans got treated, unfortunately, when they came back from the Vietnam War in America. And also, there's been a massive earthquake, which has absolutely wrecked the west coast of America. So you've got San Francisco, which is basically an amalgamation of all of those states in a sort of apocalyptic style hellhole that people are living in. And you've got all these basically these super powered beings that have been part of this war that are now sort of running rampant. Enter Marshal Law, who absolutely hates them all and wants to basically just kill them all. It is gloriously violent. The artwork by Kevin O'Neill, I've always liked his stuff. It's fantastic. It's brightly coloured, blood squirting everywhere, some mature themes, some very juvenile humour, lots of gross out gags, lots of blood squirting everywhere. Absolutely appealed to me. Loved it. Then there were adverts in the back of Toxic for then some graphic novel and things that were basically reprints of the original American stuff. I picked up. This is the first series, was called Fear and Loathing. This is the hardcover numbered edition. This is number 782 of 1500. As you can see there, it's signed by Kevin O'Neill and Pat Mills. It is a fantastic story, a good read. And there's several other stories that they did afterwards, and then hasn't been any new material for ages. I think Kevin O'Neill, I'm pretty sure, has now retired from comics. Unfortunately, we might not get any more. There was a movie they were trying to make at one point, like all of these things generally happens, but nothing ever came of it, which is a real shame. It would be great to see someone pick that up now, do a Netflix series or something where you can get the violence or stuffed in there would be great. But then basically, a few years back, Unbox Industries produced this final figure of Marshal Law, which is absolutely fantastic. And this all ties in because when I first started then buying, when I bought Toxic and then started buying comics properly, I got all my comics from Mondo Comics in Portsmouth, which was a legendary store. I might have spoken about it before. It was in the Tricorn building, which was a brutalist architecture. Prince Charles once described it as the ugliest building in Britain, but tucked away in the corner in a little unit was Mondo Comics, run by a guy called Dan, and it was fantastic. Everyone who was a geek in the area, and even still to this day, I meet people roughly around about my age for the first time, and if they're of a similar mindset and you say, oh, I used to go to Mondo Comics, I immediately go, oh, Dan, yeah, and everyone sort of like, everyone knows of Mondo Comics. So Legendary Place made some great friends, still see to this day. But basically, Dan's now the head honcho at Unbox Industries. So when I saw this figure, I couldn't pass it up. I've got Marshal Law here displayed with his gun. You can also put in his truncheon that he's smashing superheroes around the face with. He's got his barbed wire wrapped around his arm as well. Yeah, it's gorgeous looking figure. I love the vinyl designer toys. My budget doesn't stretch me, unfortunately, to get too many of them, but I do get what I can. I simply say couldn't pass up this one. I say with the links it's got to me starting to collect comics in the first place, and to Dan and Mondo. So as you can see, martial law means a lot to me as a geek, and this figure is absolutely fantastic. So thanks for watching, and until next time, eat geek and be merry.